Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my desktop. I decided that I was going to go ahead and set up like a general walkthrough video on how to set up various system emulators onto your systems. Now, for disclaimer, that way YouTube, Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, so forth doesn't go ahead and try to, finger my butthole with strikes and other various things. I am not posting links in the description of this video for any downloads or whatever. Okay, I'm not making anything public. I'm just showing you what to do for educational purposes, so that way people don't go ahead and blow up their computers. And at the very least, offer some kind of advice on what I've learned in my time of emulating. Now, I'm going to do this video with the more annoying emulators to work with. Now, why I say they're more annoying is because you can't just launch them out of the box. You need something extra to launch them. These are the ones in question. You have RPCS3, which is your PS3 emulator, PCSX2 PS2 emulator, Xemu, Xbox, the original Xbox, Ryujinx, and Yuzu for your Nintendo Switch. Why these are annoying is because they need system files that do not come with them. From my understanding, having them released with the emulator would put the emulator's developer at risk of copyright issues, legal issues. Long term short, it's going to be legal issues. So when you download these emulators off the internet, they are not going to come with the BIOS. So if you have a ROM, if you have a game and you have the system set up, and you go to launch it, the game's going to give you the finger because you don't have the software to run it. Now, specifically for Ryujinx and Yuzu, you're going to need the firmware. You're going to need, I believe, product keys, and you're going to need title keys, if I remember correctly, and then firmware. There's going to be one. You're going to need two out of the three things. Both of these are different. When we get into these, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm trying to remember exactly what you needed for both, but one needed one. I think Ryujinx only needs the product keys, and Yuzu, I believe, needs firmware and product keys, I think. But we'll get into that. Xbox, on the other hand, if we go to settings, yeah, this is what you need. You need a flash BIOS, you need the MCPX boot ROM file, hard disk image file, and the EEP ROM file. Generally, system files. And then as for RPCS3, I got the two mixed up, my apologies. You're going to need, let me see, I believe it's just straight up BIOS. I have a mental block. Okay, you're going to just need the BIOS. I'm going to show you that too. Same story for the PCSX2. You're going to need BIOS files. Now, where to get these emulators? Again, I can't post links. Generally, just Google their names and you'll find them. Now, as to find their BIOS files, the individual developers of these emulators do not make those public. You cannot get it from them, far as I've seen, though they do kind of post links as to where to get them. I know for the PS3 emulator, you might be able to get it through Sony, maybe? Big maybe, because I tried getting it through Sony and it didn't work and I had to find a third-party site. Generally, you're just going to look up maybe like PS3 BIOS, PS3 system file, something like that, okay? Now, this is just where I keep all my emulators. Let's go for the PS3, right? The PS3 BIOS that you're looking for, it's going to look something like this. It's going to be PS3 updat.pup. I probably said that completely incorrect and someone's going to flip out on me in the comment section, but that's typically what it's going to be called. Now, each file is going to be a different version. The newest one, as of recording today, is December 10th. The newest version is 4.89. That is the newest version. Now, when you download it, it's not going to come out like this. It's going to come out like this. For some reason, they always come out as this file. They never actually title it with a version, so be mindful of that. Is there any real major reason to update this? Maybe. I have noticed some performance increase with Killzone 2, but that could just be the emulator itself being updated and the developers patching out some issues. So it could just be the system itself. I'm honestly not sure. But that's what you're going to need. You're going to need, for PS3, the RPCS, you're going to need this. After you do that, right, once you download it, you're going to go, let me see if I can remember. I think it's install firmware. You're going to go looking for your PS3 firmware. Okay, and it's going to install. Now, I already have it, so I'm not going to do it because I don't want to mess with anything. But you're just going to say yes, it's going to install it, it's going to run the program, you're done. PS3 is ready to go. Okay, so for your PS2, what you're going to need is a file like this, another BIOS file. It's going to be titled scph-70012.bin. Now the number might be different because this could just be my version file. So your number might be scph-say 70312 or something like that. So long as it's a file like that, it's a bin file, and it's titled like that, you're good. That's what you're looking for. You're going to go to your system. It's going to be under your BIOS selector. You're going to go under BIOS. Now, I already have mine here. You're going to have to look it up in Explorer. I have it, of course, right here. You're going to find your file, click it, and then it's going to take it from there. You just say apply, OK, you're done. Now your PCSX2 is set up. Now let's move on to Ryujinx and Yuzu. Alright, so for Ryujinx specifically, all I have is the product keys. You need the file product key or prod keys, and that's all I really think you need for Ryujinx. I don't remember needing anything further than that for system, but generally what you're going to do is you can go File, open Ryujinx folder, and then under System, just drop your prod keys there, and you should be good. I don't believe you need firmware, not to my memory. Wait, System, no, that should be it. And then you throw your games in, call it good, you're done. Now, I would recommend strongly that you get both Ryujinx and Yuzu. The reason why I say that is because Ryujinx and Yuzu are both built differently. That being said, some games will run better on Yuzu, some games will run better on Ryujinx. For example, for me to play Pokemon Scarlet, it's going to run like crap on Yuzu, but it actually runs very well on Ryujinx. Vice versa, some games work better on Yuzu. So, I just get both of them. Trust me, if you want to do Switch, that's the best way to do it. Now then, as for this, you open up your Yuzu file. It's going to be, let's see, I'm going to take a look real quick. Okay, so you got your keys right here. You're going to want prod keys and title keys. I believe you want to also put your system file. I remember having system files. There's a spot, I just can't remember where exactly. But long story short, you're definitely going to want at least the prod keys and title keys. That should be enough. Though you might want also firmware. You just got to look to see where exactly they put the firmware. I just forgot. I apologize. And then as I said, for Xbox, just these four. That's really all you need. It's just finding those system files. Once you find them, load them up, call it good. It's sometimes the Xbox was the weirdest one, honestly, in my opinion. The Xbox was the weirdest one just for the fact that I don't remember the files being called what they were supposed to. Like, I think Flash BIOS, for this one's complex, boot ROM was actually boot ROM, hard disk was hard disk, so these ones actually made sense. I don't think these two were titled what they were supposed to be. So I don't remember that. Again, it's been a little bit since I set these up. Now, another thing to make note of is emulation is not completely that simple. Like, for a system like PCSX2, pick the game, go to your ISO selector, pick your game, launch it, should be fine. Most PCSX2 games, most PS2 games, will work fine on the emulator because, granted, we've had this system for how many years now? So, they've, I'd say, patched out a lot of issues. So a lot of PS2 games will work. A majority will work at this point. Xbox is a little funny, a little fugazi at times. Conker's Bad Fur Day works okay, depending on where you're playing it, so that's alright. RPCS3, on the other hand, definitely has a lot of issues that still work out. Killzone 2 kind of works. You get a lot of graphical issues at the moment. Walking Dead, what is this one? This is the one where he plays Daryl, Survival Instinct. Yeah, this one, it just flat out crashes. There's a point in the game where it just gives you the finger and the game just dies. So every game is different. You're going to have to go to config for each game. This did not come up. And then your config settings look like this. Now, remember, if you want to config the specific game, right mouse click it, create custom, go through here. Every game is different. You got to tweak them a little bit. So you can mess with the resolution under GPU. What renderer? Again, every game is different. Some are going to want to use Vulkan. Some are going to want to OpenGL. You have your frame rate limit. Sometimes that'll help. It really just depends on the individual game. Now, I know for Killzone, to get the game to not die, you need to set right color buffers. For Walking Dead, I have it set there as well. Some games are going to use that. This just helps with missing graphics and broken lighting. So if your game just looks like crap and it's just not working, that's what you're going to go with. A lot of it is trial and error, unfortunately. So just messing with settings. Be careful about what you're messing with. Like, for example, here, You have the VBank frequency. This essentially, if I remember correctly, it does not want to tell me what exactly it does. I can't remember. Oh, wait. There we go. It basically increases the hertz rate. So, bigger frequency, more work, but you're putting more pressure on your system. So, some of these settings, be careful with. That's what I'm going to say. Be careful with them. There is a Discord. I'm talking out of my butt right now. I apologize. There's a Discord for RPCS3. Specifically RPCS3. If you want to join that Discord, go for it. They kind of give you guys some help as to what you're doing wrong. What's really cool is what you're going to want to do when you get into that Discord. Right? And I believe their Discord is linked directly through the RPCS website, so you shouldn't have a hard time finding it. I'm trying to find it, if I remember correctly. There is a thing that you want to use. I haven't done it in a while because I haven't had to. What you're going to do is if a game fails to launch, or just it's not working right, I can't remember where to do it. Essentially, it will create... No, wait, actually, no, you don't do that here. You don't do that here. Hold on, let me find it. I remember now. I remember. Hold on. Okay, I got it. So, when you're doing RPCS3, right, if the game ain't working, you're part of that Discord, what you do is run the game, let it fail. Just let it fail. Just launch it, let it do its thing, close it. When the program's closed, close RPCS3 as well. Go into your system files, your PS3 files, mind you. You're going to look for this, rpcs3.log. You're going to take that, you're going to copy and paste it right into Discord. There's a specific channel on the Discord that you copy and paste it into. And they'll look at the log and tell you what's wrong. They'll give you an idea, like, okay, these are your settings. This is probably why the game's crashing. It gives you a general idea of what's wrong. You could tweak it, but again, remember, some of these games, they're just not going to work the way you want them to because, again, it's emulation. Now, for Switch games, if your game is just going black, right, you launch the game and it just black screen, set it to handheld mode. Yuzu is a little bit easier with this since you could just literally click it right here and you're good. Ryujinx, on the other hand, you have to go into settings specifically. Okay, I'm dumb. It's right here. It's under input. You put it in dock mode or keyboard access, things like that. This is how you would essentially put it in handheld or docked, right? I would say leaving it in docked handheld mode probably would be better since a lot more games seem to be more accepting of it being in handheld mode than dock mode. But you do suffer some graphical infidelities, I would say. It doesn't look as great, but again, it's a Switch emulator. Being its emulator, it's only going to look so good. But for the most part, they work. Now, one game I was having trouble with on Ryujinx, No Straight Roads, for those of you that know what I'm talking about, after beating the first boss of the game, I went to go on to the second boss. And you're supposed to jump off, I think, a platform that you're hanging out on, but when I jump off, the game just black screens and dies, and it doesn't continue, it just crashes. I have no idea what that is. It could be that the game requires an update that I need to go download. That's another thing, too, with Yuzu and Ryujinx. As you notice, Pokemon right here shows an update. You have to download the update files and DLC files separately from the game. Now, some do come packaged with it depending on where they're from, but if you want to get newer versions of the game, you're gonna have to update those. You have to download those updates separately. Now, to install an update, you're gonna install files to NAND. You're gonna go find your files through here. You select it, and it's just gonna install where it belongs. It's a really simple process. Just highlight everything, and installs. I believe for Ryujinx, I don't think I've done with Ryujinx. Yeah, okay. So it's installed. It should be install firmware. That should be how you do it. Again, I haven't done it myself in a while. I actually haven't messed with Ryujinx that much. I'm still learning these myself, but I know the basis of how to set them up. Again, some games might work better after an update. Some might not work out better. That's at least the more complicated bits and pieces to this. Now, actually, we have plenty of time. I can move on to the easier emulators, so I'm just going to load those up real quick. Alright, so these are 3 of the easier emulators that I have. Now, I believe for the DS, it's just Melon DS, right? You have Days of Ruin right here running. ppsspp for your PlayStation Portable, PSP. And then Dolphin for your GameCube and your Wii games. Now, I know there's emulators for the Wii U, for the DS, the 3DS, 3DS is Citra, which I have on my Steam Deck. I can't remember the other ones. I had a Game Boy Advanced, but I don't know what happened to it. I thought I had it installed. I guess I don't anymore. For that one, there's actually two that I know that are available. It's Visual Boy Advanced M or MGBA, and I believe I had MGBA. Now, I'm just going to run by the general names of the emulators that I know are available for you guys. For what I believe to be the NES, you have FCEUX for one, JNES, Nestopia UE, and Rock NES. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the difference is between these. I'm not sure if they're just different developers, different regions, that I have no idea. But those are what's available for the NES. As for Genesis, you have Kega Fusion. Super Nintendo, you've got the BSNES. And then also SNES 9X. Saturn is Kronos. KRONOS. PlayStation is going to be DuckStation. Nintendo 64, you have Project 64 and Simple 64. Dreamcast is DE Mule, MUL. And then Red Ream for also Dreamcast. For PlayStation 2, it's going to be, as we know, PCSX2. Xbox is Xemu. GameCube and Wii is Dolphin, as we can see. Xbox 360 is Xena. XENIA. For the correct spelling. PlayStation 3, as we know, RPCS3. Game Boy Color is Same Boy. Game Boy Advance, as I've said, is MGBA and Visual Boy Advance-M. Nintendo DS is Melon DS, and PlayStation Portable is the ppsspp. I know 3DS is Citra. I don't know about the 3DS. That one I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry, if that was the 3DS. I meant to say PS Vita. I don't know about PS Vita. I don't know what emulator you use for that one. But as for these and Citra, you do not need system files. You don't need any kind of external files to run the system. Download the system, launch your game, you're done. All you need to do is find the ROMs. As I've said with ROM games, I cannot and will not link any kind of, links to where you can download them, because that would make me liable, and I don't really want to anger Mama Susan more than I probably already have, because I'm surprised I'm not on her crap list already if I haven't been so already. But generally, that is how you emulate. Now, as I've said, for those of you who want to get into emulation, remember, some of the older systems run very well. Some of them do not. Sometimes with Dolphin, it doesn't run the best, and you're going to have to mess with your graphic settings. PSP is another great example. For example, Pursuit Force 1 and Pursuit Force 2. Pursuit Force 1 runs perfectly fine. You can launch it damn near on almost anything. It's fine. But then Pursuit Force 2, I believe it's called Extreme Justice. That game runs like a tank. It's slow. It's bleh. It's crap. You gotta mess with your settings. And depending on the system that you're on, completely dictates how it's gonna work at all. Like, for example, on my PC, I can get it to work just fine with certain tweaks of my system. On the other hand, launching it on my Steam Deck, it runs like crap. There is no way to get the damn thing to work. I've tried setting after setting. I just can't get it to work. Now, as for this one, I mean, as you can see for the DS, it literally just splits the screen. Forgive the poor noise. But as you can see, it plays it as two screens. Now, the only reason why this is tiny is because I've made it tiny, so that way you can see exactly how it works. But this is your bottom screen, top screen, so you guys see how DS games work. Basically, the bottom screen is still touch, you just use your mouse, click, you're done. Again, forgive the loud music, I apologize. But that's generally it. There's really not a lot to it, just tweak some settings. I would strongly recommend going to their individual sites. Some of their sites will have a breakdown of known issues. RPS3 specifically, I know if you were to look up certain games, it'll tell you whether it is, I believe what are the keys? It's in-game, good, working, I can't remember. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Okay, so if you look here, this is their site. Generally, this is what they are, right? So they are saying that right now 68% of PS3 games are completely playable. You can play the game with playable performance and no game-breaking bugs. 28% of them are in-game. So they either can't be finished, they have some serious glitches, or they just don't run the greatest. Another version, 2% of them are intro. They're the games that will display images, but they just don't make it past the menus. You just can't get past the main menu. They're loadable. 0.9% of them. Games that display black screen with frame rate on window title, so they're probably not gonna work. And then just nothing. There's no game right now that has nothing, but essentially, if it's nothing, this is a game that just does not initialize or run at all. For the 3 loadable games, there's only 3 loadable games, really? It says there's only 3, but it doesn't tell me. Is that them? Huh. Oh, these are the load. Why does it say that there are 3 pages, maybe? I don't know why it says 3. Anyway, these are the loadable games. As Divine Hearts, Everyday Together, Revenant Saga, Uncharted, Waters Online, Uncharted Waters Online, I don't know what the difference is, and then White Knight Chronicles. These games are loadable. You load them, they don't work. 93 games are as intro, so you're not getting past main menu. So here you go, real quick. I'm just not going to bother reading through them, but this is just a quick gist. It seems like a lot of the games that don't work are games that rely on internet connectivity or motion controls. Those who are titled as in-game, so games that you probably won't finish. Here you go. Now remember, there's more to this. This is just to show you what I'm talking about, that these are an issue. And then the ones that are playable, the ones that you can get through. Again, quick gist. But you have a lot more games that you can get through than others. But again, you can find this compatibility list on RPCS3's specific website. Again, their Discord is right here as well. So you go here, you join, and you can figure out all your emulation with RPCS3. Now, as for the other emulators, I don't know if they have an emulator. That I have no idea. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know if their emulators have Discords. That's what I meant to say. I don't know if they have Discords. They probably do, but I don't know. You're going to have to look into that. Alright, now for those of you who are Steam Deck owners, right? For those of you that want to do emulation on your Steam Deck, you're probably wondering, Nick, how do you do emulation on Steam Deck? You've mentioned it a couple times. This is how you do it. You find yourself Emudeck. Literally just go to Google, type in Emudeck, and then just say download. Then you just download installer, and that's it. Now, I don't know if it's going to work very well on my PC, and being that I already have them, I'm not going to bother downloading it. But you have the option of, I believe, custom, and I believe it's either like simple or advanced installation. Don't be panicked by it. Essentially, one option will just install absolutely everything, and I believe the advanced one or the expert one, that one just lets you pick and choose what emulators you want to install specifically. I went for the simple one. You never know. Now, there are other emulators that you can get. MAME, for example, is for arcade shooters. Something similar to the tune of, like, House of the Dead, Time Crisis, old school arcade games, basically. That's what MAME is for, right? Ocean Hunter would be another one. Can't think of the other ones offhand. And then, like I said, there's a bunch that I've mentioned to you guys. Now, you can, if you install all of them, kind of turn them on or off, just so that way Steam doesn't make a profile for them. What's really cool about this program, it actually makes a Steam profile for each game. Now, sometimes the profile pics work, sometimes they don't. It kind of depends on the game. It's kind of roll the dice, but nevertheless, sometimes they work. As I've said before, this does not come with the BIOS files or the firmware files. If you go to Emudeck's Discord, they will not link you those files. They will not link you ROMs. They will not link you files. If you go to RPCS's Discord, same situation. They will not leave you links for files and ROMs. Again, this is a matter of copyright. This is a matter of anti-piracy. Discord has taken down channels for linking these files. So they're very hard against that. If you go and ask, hey, does anybody have a link to this? Or can someone give me this? You will be banned off those Discords. I promise you. Do not do that. Just honestly, Google it. My advice to you, since, we're all generally afraid of getting viruses, nobody wants to get a virus when doing emulation. My advice to you, download an antivirus. I use Malwarebytes. Download Malwarebytes, just do the free trial. You only need it for a couple hours, if anything. Then get yourself an ad blocker. on Google extensions, right? Get an ad blocker, get the antivirus. Malwarebytes offers, like, I think a 14-day free trial for the full version, so you only really need a couple hours, if not a couple days. Then browse around the internet to your heart's content. Just be careful about what you're clicking on, but browse around. If anything, what I usually do too is I don't browse on my primary desktop. I browse on a laptop, and that way if that one blows up or gets viruses, I have nothing to lose on there. I just reset my OS and reinstall everything, and I don't really lose much. On my desktop, though, if I got a virus, I'd have to restart everything. And this is where I do all my YouTube stuff, and that'd be really aggravating if I had to restart everything on here. So that's why, if I'm going to blow up anything, I blow up my laptop. So I would strongly recommend to you guys, if you have a cheap laptop that you really don't care about, if you can do, say, VirtualBox, do that. That'd be probably safer, but that's my advice to you guys. That is generally how you install your emulators, what you needed to do, and what you need to run them. Again, if you're looking for ROMs, games, system files, browse the internet. They're definitely out there. There are some sites that are literally dedicated to just certain things like ROMs or system files, like dedicated for all of them. So, again, browse around, just be careful, make sure you have an antivirus, and make sure you have an ad blocker, because every now and then you're going to get a pop-up being like, oh, hey, you have a virus, call us now, and it's really aggravating. It's not a virus, it's bull. Just be careful what you're clicking on, and don't panic. But as always, ladies and gents, that's where I'm going to leave this one for today. If you have any questions, concerns, or ideas, leave them in the comment section below. I do want these emulation videos to be kind of a general conversation, right? So if anybody watching this has any advice as to what we could do better, if you have any settings or anything that you found to be an easier system, talk about it in the comment section. Don't leave links. I'm going to have to delete links. Do not leave links. If you guys want to ask about particular games, I will do a video on the settings I have and whether or not they work. So leave in the comment section, be like, hey Nick, can you play Killzone 2 through the emulator? How does it work? And I'll load it up, I'll tell you guys my system specs, and I'll tell you exactly how it works. Generally, what you want to see, tell me in the comment section, and I'll do what I can. And I will get back to your comment as soon as I see it. Sometimes you just gotta give me time, sometimes I don't see it. But as soon as I see it, I will get back to you, I promise. If you want to come talk to me directly, link description below for our Discord. My Discord, again, same rule applies. We will not post links to emulators, ROMs, or system files because, again, liability. I'm not looking to have my Discord terminated. I was actually part of a emulation Discord that was posting links, and guess what happened? It got taken down. Though I might do a Gilded. They don't seem to be too heavy on that, so maybe I'll do Gilded. We'll see. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you found this helpful. Again, any questions, please leave in the comment section. I will get back to you as soon as I see it. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Any activity you leave on these videos helps out tremendously as it keeps YouTube's algorithm pushing out our videos, and it keeps the channel alive and well within the system, and I really appreciate the help. I'll see you around the next one, guys. Thank you everyone so much, and I hope you all have a fantastic night. Oh, and before we leave, one last little detail. Emudeck is already preset to the Steam Deck's required settings. So, certain things like your resolution, certain things like graphical settings, Emudeck already has the emulators set to something that should work for your Steam Deck. You might have to do some tweaks yourself, but for the most part, it's already set up. Just get the system files in there, get your game in there, you're done. But other than that, I'll see you around, guys. Thank you everyone so much. Have a fantastic night.